Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superman Homepage Live. Superman Homepage Live? SupermanHomepage.com? Yeah, no, Superman Homepage Live. Brought to you by SupermanHomepage.com, the number one Superman fan site in the world. In this, our February 10th, 2025 show, we're going to be talking about some of the new stuff happening around the Superman movie, what happened with Puppy Bowl, and this preview we were supposed to get. We're going to talk about new merchandise. It probably gives us a little bit more than what we got at Puppy Bowl. And we're going to be talking about some other stuff around the world of Superman, including a new book or a new version of a book. We're going to be talking about UK fans getting Superman and Lois season 4 and so much more. Joining me tonight are my good friends, co-hosts Michael Bailey. Hello, Michael. How are you?
Hey, Steve, doing good. How about you?
Yeah, doing well, thank you. And Mark Lax. Hey, Mark.
Hey guys, how are you?
Doing well, thank you very much. And before we get off to anything else, I want to thank our sponsors and our patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. Thank you so much for buying us this week's coffee. And that's all it costs, folks. If you want to be a sponsor of this show, all you have to do is click the join button below there on YouTube. There are different levels of membership with different levels of perks, and one of them is becoming a sponsor of this live show. And or you can go to patreon.com/Superman homepage. Again, the same levels of membership. So thank you for this week's coffee to those great sponsors of our show. And thank you to people who are tuning in live with us tonight. We appreciate you joining us and spending this next hour with us, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. Thank you so much for your company. But Michael, they might like to get involved in tonight's show. How do they go about doing that?
Oh, that's dirt simple. They have to go to supermanhomepage.com/live and press the call now button. And there they'll be placed in the green room and they can watch the show while they're waiting to potentially get on the call with us tonight. They can also, if they want to use their smartphones, scan the QR code, which is right next to me. It even says scan me, so it's pretty convenient. You should be able to figure that out rather quickly. If you are going to use your computer or your laptop or whatever, and you're using an external speaker to listen to us, please mute that or turn it down when you're on the call because we're on a bit of a delay and that can cause some problems. And if you're going to use your smartphone, please use your headset, AirPods, microphone, whatever, because the speakerphone feature really, really crackles and screws up.
Yes, so get involved if you want to talk to us tonight. But if you're a little bit shy and you just want to be able to chat with us, then feel free to participate in the comments. They're both on Facebook and on YouTube. And Instagram. We can see the things you're saying, react to any questions you might have. But if you're on YouTube and you want your question or comment featured live on the screen during the show, that is called a super chat. All you have to do is click the dollar symbol there on your screen. A slider will appear. You decide on the dollar amount you're willing to donate, and we will feature your comment or question live on the screen as we go along tonight. So with all that housekeeping stuff out of the way, let's get into tonight's topics. And let's start with the movie news side of things. And before we get into the whole Puppy Bowl issue, let's have a look at what else has been happening, starting with Nicholas Hoult appearing at MegaCon in Orlando, Florida, where he answered some questions during a Q&A panel about playing Lex Luthor. And he had this to say when he was asked about playing Lex Luthor. He said, if someone, whether or not Lex is right about Superman being a threat, he said if someone had ultimate power and the ability to do anything, then what happens when what he does doesn't align with everyone else's belief of what is right? So that's kind of Lex Luthor's perspective. And he said that he hopes to play Lex Luthor long into the future, saying there's so much I want to do with Lex. I hope to play the character for a while. So that's good news, and hopefully he does get to play the character in some upcoming sequels beyond just the upcoming Superman movie.
Uh, I'm actually just hoping for Superman sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not that familiar with the actor, but, as long as he, hey, as long as he pulls this off, I would love, I'd love to see him again and other sequels, which we really hope that we'll have. And I'd be really shocked if we don't get a proper, Superman 2 out of this out of this franchise.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see just exactly what happens with the franchise as we get this movie, but we can't look too far into the future. We're just looking to July of this year to start with and see what happens based on how this movie goes. And then the Rachel Brosnahan was doing red carpet interviews at the Critics' Choice Awards this past weekend, where she nearly let slip some details in regards to the movie. And she had this to say in one particular interview. Let's see what if I can get this up. Let's see what she had to say. Here she is.
I mean, what can you say about Superman? Like, what are you allowed to say?
Not a whole lot, as you can imagine. Although now there's a couple things out there. We released a trailer, so there is a dog, there is a super guy, and an evil one. Yeah, it was so much fun. It was so different from anything I'd ever done before, and that's half the joy of getting to do what we do. You know, I got to... Oh, I almost just gave something away, and then I didn't. Oh my God!
Give it away! Give it away!
I'm really media trained enough for this.
Just say it. It feels good.
You know, I got to do some things that I've never done before. Oh, you do know that I got to fly based on the trailer. I can say that. Got to hang from the sky.
So there's just a bit of the interview from E! News where she speaks about what's going on and what she couldn't say and nearly let slip something that we don't know. But yeah, she obviously did a lot of wire work and things like that she probably hasn't done before in other, the Marvel's Miss Maisel or whatever that show was. That wouldn't have had too many special effects in it compared to what Superman would have. So, she did a lot of interviews, and you can go to our website. I've collected many of them and posted those videos up on supermanhomepage.com if you want to see what else she had to say. But that was probably the most interesting interview of the lot.
Yeah, I love how she was about to give something away and had to catch herself. It was just kind of adorable, really. Just everything about when we hear these actors talking about the movie, they all seem very. I mean, from Rachel Brosnahan to Nicholas Hoult to this convention, to Nathan Fillion talking about being on set and having the music be part of the shooting experience. I think I just gives me a really good feeling about this movie, more so than I had before.
Yeah, I wonder what it was she was going to say. Of course, we don't want to be spoiled that much. We don't want to be spoiled that much. I mean, sometimes these trailers can give too much away. But I mean, she did a good job catching herself, and like Mike said, she just seems so happy talking about it, and wow, this I got to fly, and it's like these people like really seem to have a good time making this movie, which is a plus, I mean, because you don't
100%.
always get that kind of attitude, even people discussing a movie, positively, you don't always get that feeling that they really enjoyed themselves, making it, but you get that feeling here.
Yeah, indeed. So that was some of the interviews from the Critics' Choice Awards this past weekend. But as for what happened on Sunday, now we obviously you guys had the Super Bowl. I watched the first half. Oh, Michael's dropped out. Hopefully he'll just join us back in a second. So you had the Super Bowl. I watched the first half. Congratulations to the Cincinnati Chiefs.
Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm just joking. Philadelphia Eagles, who
okay. Because, look, I didn't watch it, but I knew who won.
No, obviously Kansas City had one back-to-back and were looking for the historic three-peat, which they didn't get. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles for winning the Super Bowl. Actually, there's an Australian in the team, Jordan Malaita, who is from Sydney and is the first Australian to have been winning a Super Bowl. So congratulations to everyone involved there. But the Puppy Bowl, which is, a whole little thing about dogs and, it's kind of a cute kind of thing that's been going on for quite a few years now. was where Superman fans kind of had their eye, because we believed that James Gunn was, which he did, deliver a personal message accompanied by his dog Ozu, who inspired the portrayal of Krypto in the upcoming movie. And there was a prize for the best dog that, had a Krypto award and all that kind of stuff, which was, I believe, won by a dog. I can't remember the name of the dog now. I thought I had it here mentioned, but so Puppy Bowl was where we had our eyes turned for what we thought would be a new preview of Superman. Now, why did we think that? Well, we had this from the Hollywood Reporter, an article saying Warner Brothers discovered to use Puppy Bowl for Superman marketing push. This was on January 10th. This article was published, and there, highlighted at the bottom, said Gunn will introduce a sneak preview of Superman and deliver a special message to viewers. Now, because we'd already seen the teaser trailer late last year, and then we had the Icon TV spot earlier this year, I guess we all assumed that this would be a new preview, or a new sneak preview of the film. But what we got instead, I believe, because it didn't air here in Australia, but from what I've been told, was the same TV spot that we'd already seen. And so fans were kind of a little bit disappointed, thinking that there's supposed to be something new. But what we did get was a message from James Gunn, and here is that message directed exactly to the Puppy Bowl broadcast.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn, co-chief of DC Studios, and I'm here with my pal, Ozu, a rescue pup we adopted back when I was writing the script for my latest film, Superman. And as Ozu was changing our lives, he became the inspiration for a character in the film that I can't wait for you to meet, Superman's best friend, Krypto. Krypto has all the powers of Superman and is lovable and mischievous as many of the irresistible pups you'll see today. In this year's Puppy Bowl, we're going to meet over 120 rescue pups who started off in shelters and are now flying to stardom as they tussle, triumph, and get distracted over the course of the day. And speaking of flying...
So, yeah, there's just a bit of that message. I would want to play it all just in case we get done for copyright reasons or what have you. But he delivered a message all about Puppy Bowl, about Krypto, and about Ozu and rescue dogs and all those kinds of things, and raising funds, and all the kinds of things that would connected to Puppy Bowl. And you could hear in the background the theme for the movie using the John Williams, a version of the John Williams Superman theme, which was exciting. People, removed James Gunn's voice and just had the music extracted from that with the technology that is available today. So there is that to be, thankful for. But as far as any new footage was concerned, all we really did get was this. So just animation of Krypto, kind of fighting with the logo for Puppy Bowl. And we also got this with Guy Gardner, which is obviously directed at the Super Bowl. So Guy Gardner pulling off his, showing off his hair, his bowl cut. So yeah, we got a good look at the Green Lantern ring there, and the Green Lantern's, or his Guy Gardner's suit. So just a bit of fun there with Nathan Fillion. But I think, isn't that the actor playing? Is that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nathan Fillion.
So a little, some tidbits there. And as I said, there was also this at the bottom of the Puppy Bowl, a sneak peek of Superman. They kept promoting this, and they had a little Krypto flying back and forth on the bottom with these little titles that they brought up. And that was kind of cute. But the sneak peek, as we now know, was just the TV spot that we'd already seen. So nothing new as far as footage was concerned.
Well, two things. One, I don't know. I mean, did we read more into when they said, oh, they're going to show a sneak peek, or they're going to show some kind of preview? did we read more into that, do you think? Or should we really have been expecting something new? Not just, the Guy Gardner and Crypto. I mean, a Crypto I think you can expect considering it was the Puppy Bowl, but
Yes.
you know, but showing the sneak preview that they've already shown, the way I mean, just saying we're going to show a sneak preview makes you think. Obviously, you're going to see something new.
Mm.
Now, true, not everyone has seen this preview or these trailers or what have you. But you know, to say we're going to show a sneak preview and then just show the same thing that has been shown several times already is kind of, well, sneaky. I think it does give us. I guess it does give us the impression that we're going to see a new preview. I mean, I didn't think we were going to see anything, like the big trailer or anything like that. But I did think they might show something a little bit new, a scene or two, or something that we really haven't seen that would make us go, "Oh, okay." That's kind of whets our appetite for the next big, preview we will get. But we didn't get any of that. So.
No, and I guess we all thought from that article and other similar articles that they were skipping the Super Bowl. Obviously, we know now, we know how expensive those promo spots are during the Super Bowl. That they were saying that Warner Brothers is sparing the expense of putting it on Super Bowl and instead looking at Puppy Bowl. So we kind of thought that we would get something there new instead. But yeah, they never actually said anything specifically about being new footage that we hadn't seen already. But there were probably people who were watching the Puppy Bowl televised broadcast that had not seen anything about the new Superman movie, and so for them this was new. You don't know. So I guess from that perspective, they probably did the job that they wanted to do. But for us Superman fans who are watching every little second of this, that, and the other, looking for something new, that didn't come through Puppy Bowl, other than those little things that I showed you. Some comments, people saying it looks cheap, it looks, he looks horrible. I'm guessing they mean a Guy Gardner. That's the whole idea, that Guy Gardner is a cheap-looking dude that is a bit tongue-in-cheek. So, and people saying that, Crypto is going to ruin the movie. I don't get that at all. I don't get that sense at all.
The movie. No, I mean, he'll be in a few scenes. He'll be, we saw him in the scene in the big trailer. He has, that's a big moment. He'll probably have another big moment. We'll see him a couple of other times, but he's not going to overtake the movie. How's he going to ruin the movie?
And I don't think Nostalgic Podblast is saying if the movie underperforms at the box office, that this is the moment we'll look back on. I don't think that this movie is hinged on a Super Bowl commercial or not. I know people are looking at Thunderbolts and other things that happened, that were promoted during, but Superman is not Thunderbolts, because nobody, if you said to me there's a Thunderbolts movie coming out, I have no idea who that is or what that is. I'm not familiar with that name, that group or whatever. But Superman, everybody knows who Superman is. You don't need to push it as hard as some of these other movies that people are not familiar with, but everybody is familiar with Superman. And so as we get closer, we're still 5-6 months out. You don't need to be pushing this hard this early. As 3-4 months out, plenty of time to start driving eyeballs towards the idea of Superman coming out. Trust me, the promotion for this movie is going to drive itself without a Super Bowl promo.
Oh yeah, you don't need it. I mean, yeah, you're right. You don't need the Super Bowl preview. You could have, we already had the big thing in December. I mean, the first real major, trailer that we had in December, and that was, went all over the place. And you don't need a big moment to show it. I mean, most people think, like I said, Thunderbolts and what have you. Most people think, it's going to be the Academy Awards. It's going to be the Super Bowl. That's when you're going to see these big. Now, they could drop it on, March 14th, and it'll be a whole big, to all of us, excuse me. It'll be a huge thing. You don't need that big super, show or whatever to release it.
Exactly. And I believe that we will get something at the beginning of April. Probably April 1st. Not that it's April Fool's Day. It's not a joke. But we will get a trailer, I believe, in early April. I'm hearing April 1st. Look, people are giving thumbs down to these kinds of things, saying that, these are Superman's big competitors, and, that we need to be worried about. Trust me, the weekend that Superman comes out, it's going to be number one at the box office. There is no competition that week. Yes, there are movies, a lot of great movies coming out in July. There's the new Jurassic Park film coming out, I think just after or just before it. There's, the
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four the week before. Yeah. So there's lots of things coming out in July. We just got a teaser for Fantastic Four. It didn't beat out the Superman numbers as far as the trailer watch numbers are concerned. Superman still outdid that in the first 24 hours. So, I don't think we have a lot of things to worry about. So, let's just kind of relax a little bit. And we got a teaser trailer for Superman before the Fantastic Four, and the Fantastic Four comes out earlier than Superman. So, like, what's the trouble? What's the big problem? So let's kind of just hold our water a little bit, keep our hats on, and not panic too much. We will see enough in time. We don't want the movie spoilt well ahead of time by getting too much footage. You're just going to see the same old trailers and same old TV spots. That's fine, because there are people out there who don't even know that there is a Superman movie coming yet. So that for them to see this TV spot and these trailers is what we want. But the avid Superman fans, they're all over this. They know the Superman movie is coming. They're not the people that they're targeting these puppy bowl kind of spots to. It's the people who don't know about a Superman movie that they're trying to target, and there'll be plenty of opportunities to put this in front of eyeballs. Ramel saying Superman versus Fantastic Four. I don't think it's a competition. I know there is for Warner Brothers and probably the studios, but let's wait and see. I think Michael's back with us now, trying something different. His laptop died on him, so let's see how we can get Michael. Add him to the left. Oop, too many. Let's assign him to guest number 1. Hopefully Michael will be able to join us in. There he is.
There it is.
You're back with us, Mike.
Looks like I am.
Okay. Laptop died?
Yeah, and my internet's terrible. During the break, I'm going to switch to something else. I apologize.
All good. Did you have any thoughts on the whole Puppy Bowl thing? We said we just got a TV spot. We got some crypto animation. We got the Guy Gardner, him with his bowl haircut. And, we got a little bit of crypto with James Gunn talking about crypto in his delivery of the message. Your thoughts on whether or not we should have got something more, or whether or not they're just getting the eyeballs in front of fans who don't even know that there's a Superman movie coming?
That more than likely. I wouldn't. It seemed like we were promised something, but as you were saying before we even started tonight, were we? Were we really promised anything? So I would have liked an ad in the Super Bowl itself at this point, if they're not going to do that. But the Puppy Bowl is cute. And I really like the Guy Gardner thing. I know a lot of people seem to have a problem with it. But I thought it was funny. I thought it was everything it was supposed to be. So I just don't understand why people are all up in arms about it.
Do you think that Nostalgic Podblast in the comments said that he thinks if we look back, if this movie fails at the box office, that we'll look back at the fact that there was no trailer for the Super Bowl as a point of reference for that excuse?
No, because Fantastic Four didn't get a trailer either. And are we going to say that that's going to fail if it didn't get that? I think now people are trying, or I was about to say are gunning for this film, but that would be a terrible pun. Um, I think at this point, people are now finding reasons that they want it to fail, and it's almost like they're trying to do that in advance of it. So if it does, they can kind of say, "Oh, sorry, not fails, underperforms." No, no, not even that. Like the Super Bowl is a big deal, but more people tonight or today have been talking about the halftime show than any of the commercials, any of the ads. I've seen a little bit of uproar of not uproar, but discussion online about the Thunderbolts trailer, but that's only from people who would normally discuss that. I think people are more concerned, especially in this country, are now more concerned about other things involving the Super Bowl than the lack of a Superman spot. So the fact that you had the Puppy Bowl, which to be fair wasn't like aired on a network. It was aired on Animal Planet and on various streaming platforms. So it's not like they were targeting like the biggest audience they can get. They have crypto in the movie, so they chose the Puppy Bowl because it had something to do with crypto, and that's kind of cute. So I today has been exhausting with a lot of different Superman discourse. So this is like one of the things that like everybody's like was either up in arms that we didn't get anything, or they're like I was seeing people, it's like Guy Gardner is like the wrong way to do it, but he was funny, and it's Nathan Fillion, and everybody loves Nathan Fillion, so it seems a really good move that this film's going to have a bit of a sense of humor to it.
Yeah, well said. All right, so that's where we'll leave the discussion about Puppy Bowl and the new movie. But we did get an image of David Corenswet as Superman that we hadn't seen before, thanks to a leaked image of a toy involving Krypto, a Flying Krypto toy. Here it is there. Up in the sky, Flying Krypto. It's one of those kind of like helicopter type things where when you put your hand underneath it, it goes back up. It senses, surfaces or your hand underneath it, so you can guide it to keep it airborne. So hand-guided flight. But there in the top left corner, we have an image of David Corenswet as Superman, which we haven't seen before. It's got him, fists flying first. Very much like we've seen of other actors, very Christopher Reeve-like. The other hand tucked in beside his side, and the fist forward as he flies. And he looks great in this. The colors pop, and it's kind of got people excited.
Yeah, I think it looks amazing. I think it's a nice figure. It seems pretty durable, and I really like the shot of Superman on it, and I love that DC bullet in the upper corner. And again, I'm going to point out, and it's kind of ironic because one of the reasons we were given that they got rid of the DC bullet is that it didn't show up good on merchandise. Was Dan DiDio lying to us? Maybe.
Yeah. It looks first of all, David Corenswet looks great. It is a classic Christopher Reeve pose, more or less, and so that's mainly what we're talking about. But yes, that DC bullet, that looks great. I looked at that and I'm like, man, we're back to that, and I love it because when I started reading comics, it was it was with the bullet. It was quite a ways. They've had the bullet for quite a while, like it's early '80s. But yeah, and I loved that bullet. When they took it away, I was a little upset about it. But now they've finally brought it back, and it looks good on the merchandise.
So there you have it. Yeah, but this this toy, this Flying Krypto toy, not yet available. It's kind of leaked out. Michael's dropped out again, but we'll grab him back in a second. Supposed to retail for around $29.99 US, and will become available in stores before too long, and it'll be USB rechargeable. So something to look forward to. I'm sure there'll be lots of different merchandise items available for the upcoming movie. All right, we're going to take a quick break. at the halfway mark of tonight's show, place some messages, come back on the flip side to talk some more about the TV side of things, some new publications, some comic book stuff. So stick with us. We'll be back in the second half hour with the fan favorite question as well, this week in history, if Michael can get back, and so much more. We'll be back right after these messages.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying Superman Homepage Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, then you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program, just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by going to patreon.com/Superman Homepage.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer, the voice of Superman and Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
I'm freezing! Superman!
Uh-oh, sounds like Lisa and Scott are trapped in the icy cave of that frosty-faced villain, Captain Cold. This is a job for Superman.
My fast freeze zapper will freeze Superman forever.
No way, Captain. Here, kids, my new Superman Hot Cocoa Mix is the super-tasting way to warm up.
It's really sweet. And chocolatey.
And see, Captain Cold can't take this warm reception. New Superman Hot Cocoa, the super-tasting way to warm up.
And we're back on Superman Homepage Live, where sadly we've lost Michael again, but we will get him back as soon as we can. So he's obviously just having some technical issues. All right, so moving on, we will do the fan favorite segment as soon as we get Michael back in This Week in History. But on the movie side of things again, Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, the documentary film on the life and career of the late great actor, has won another award. The Producers Guild of America Awards. It took place on Saturday, February 8th in Century City. The Christopher Reeve story won the award for Outstanding Producer of Documentary Motion Pictures, while producer Lizzie Gillette, Robert Ford, and Ian Bonhart were awarded the prize for Outstanding Producer of Documentary Motion Pictures. So congratulations to everyone involved for winning what is a very prestigious award, and I still can't believe that it was snubbed for the Academy Awards.
Yeah, I just can't believe that. I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't watched it yet for, various reasons. I will definitely sit down and watch it because I really cannot wait to see this movie, but it's astounding to me why this would not have been nominated for an Academy Award. I mean, I don't know what the reason is. It just shows how the Academy Award is just dropping the ball lower and lower and lower, in the last maybe 20 years. I mean, it's just, things have just gotten worse and worse. But to snub this movie, I can't understand it.
Well, I mean, especially considering it's been winning awards left, right, and center at everything else. Mm-hmm. I just don't understand how it missed out on an Oscar nomination, but winning a PGA award is great recognition for those people involved. Michael, welcome back.
Hey, hopefully this is going to work a little better, even though it's a little weirder. If we're talking about the movie not winning or getting any Oscar love, but winning this, yeah, I'm with Mark. I don't get it. But as you just said, it seems to be winning awards everywhere else, including the Producers Guild. So that's at least somewhat. I don't know if I want to phrase this. That's at least the people in the industry are giving it the recognition it deserves, even if the Academy isn't.
No, exactly. So congratulations. And if you haven't seen the film and you are in the US, it is still streaming on or available on CNN's platforms, CNN.com, CNN connected TV and mobile apps, and cable operator platforms. So you can still you can see it that way. Still hasn't been shown here in Australia yet on streaming. It was available in the theaters, but for a limited time. But there you have it. Now, speaking of getting things a little bit later than everybody else, our friends in the UK are still awaiting the premiere of season 4 of Superman and Lois. You mentioned this last week, Michael, but we have some details now. BBC One will be showing, or just showed, the first episodes of season 4 on Sunday, February 9th at 11:30 p.m. with a double episode premiere of the first 2 episodes of season 4. But for some reason, the continuing episodes they're going to do double episode pairings again, but it's on Monday mornings at like 10 past 12 in the morning, like just after midnight. I mean, is it because it's already screened and there's no more of it, and so they're going, look, people can stream this whenever they want. We'll just premiere it at a time that's really irrelevant?
That's kind of it. I was talking to my buddy Andy, who lives in the UK, and he says, that they're more interested in like it being on iPlayer than the actual BBC. So they put it on the BBC at at that time, but it's kind of more important to be on the iPlayer at this point.
Yeah, that does make sense. So if you have access to the iPlayer, you can watch it whenever you want. Do that. I wouldn't be waiting up till midnight to watch double episode premieres. I mean, you could, but what's the point, right?
Hey, we can't tell these people how to live their life, Steve.
That's right. Who do you think you are?
Yeah, exactly.
We ain't about that life.
No.
So
I'm up at 4 in the morning, just waiting for the next episode of something to drop. Something's always dropping at some time now. So
yeah, that's right.
You never know.
Well, if you're in Australia, you're definitely staying up at all hours to watch things dropping in the US. So at least the Super Bowl aired here like at 10 a.m. in the morning. Was kind of reasonable time for people, so that was okay. All right, so let's have a look at what else is going on in the world of Superman. Actually, let's take this opportunity before Michael accidentally drops out again. Who knows with what's going on tonight. Let's do the fan favorite segment of our show. All right, Michael, what was our fan favorite question from last week? Or do you have access to that? Because I know you're on different...
Yes, I do.
You're good. Okay.
Yes, I do. What is your favorite episode of the Fleischer animated shorts? And Alex David wrote, my favorite Fleischer animated short episode is The Mechanical Monsters.
Short but sweet. Thank you very much. Mark, who was next?
JP Rocher wrote, my favorite episode of Max Fleischer's Superman is Volcano. It's just great how, with effortless foresight and ease, Superman is able to deflect a giant rock harmlessly into the bay and use the cable car to knock down the side of the mountain to slow the lava flow. It's definitely a great short to capture the attention of moviegoers awaiting their future.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you, JP. Next up was Lorenzo, who first wants to thank Michael for bestowing upon him what he will now adopt as his new superhero name, Hot Take, which I will wear with honor, as Michael really pulled out some Cisco Ramon level superhero naming skills for that one. So, well done, Michael. The name Hot Take reminds me of the Teen Titans character Hotspot, a character I was quite fond of on the 2003 Teen Titans animated series. This week, however, is one of the rare instances in which my answer to the fan favorite question is surprisingly not that much of a hot take. My favorite of the Fleischer shorts is the Arctic Giant. So thank you
Oh,
very
thank
much,
God.
Lorenzo. Yeah, not a
I
hot
thought he was
take.
gonna say like Japatours was his favorite. We were gonna have to question a lot. We were gonna have a lot of questions after that
about Lorenzo.
No, I love Lorenzo. I love. I appreciate that. I do not consider myself a Cisco Ramon level namer, but I'll go with that one. Kirby though wrote, "Sorry I didn't send in my answer last week. I wanted the answer to the question about Superman, but I'm not a good writer, so I got intimidated. But I liked what other people wrote about the hope and the inspiration of him. For me, he inspired me to do better, and he also taught me how to read. I was very bad in classes as a young student. During the Silver Age, I had slight dyslexia, which was never diagnosed. My two older brothers read comic books, brought them home. I wanted to read them so badly, especially Superman and the Legion. So they were like a teaching tool to me. By the end of the first year of reading comic books, my reading level was way above grade, and I had all to the Man of Steel."
Thank you, Kirby, for sharing that with us. And I don't think you have anything to worry about or feel intimidated when it comes to writing a good answer, because that was awesome. Thank you very much for
that was
sharing
excellent.
that story with us. Well done, Kirby. Yes. Kenny is up next, Mark.
Yes, Kenny Crowley Jr. wrote, "My favorite episode of the Max Fleischer Superman theatrical shorts from the 1940s is the very first episode, The Mad Scientist, that sets up the whole series. I own the series, well, most of the episodes on the Blu-ray disc of Superman 2 as part of the Superman motion picture anthology Blu-ray disc box set released in 2011 and the Superman 5 film collection 4K steelbooks released in 2023. I do wish, though, Warner Brothers Home Entertainment would go back and redo the set on Blu-ray disc that came out 2023. Those had bad DNR, digital noise reduction, and too much of the film grain was removed. Just let the Warner Archive team work on the set and restore those theatrical shorts. Just saying. Thanks, Superman homepage, for all you guys do, and keep up the super amazing work."
Thank you very much, Kenny. Yes, sometimes these people can't get out of their own way to make these things look better than they think they do, and sometimes they go a little bit too far. So thank you to everyone for their answers to this fan favorite question. Our next fan favorite question for this week is, what is your favorite episode of the 1950s Adventures of Superman TV series? Obviously starring George Reeves. Send in your answers to the email address scrolling across the bottom of your screen now. It is, for those listening as a podcast, info@supermanhomepage.com. That's info@supermanhomepage.com to answer the fan favorite question about your favorite episode of the 1950s Adventures of Superman TV series. Get involved. All right, let's jump into This Week in History.
Come with me now, my son, as we break through the bars of your earthly confinement, traveling through time and space.
All right, this week we start in 1955 with Superboy number 40, and I'm looking at a much smaller screen, so I don't get as much detail on the cover as I usually do. But that looks supremely dangerous, and I'm kind of glad Superboy's there.
Says.
Yeah, yeah. It's the magic is you're about to get spear chucked through you. 1965, we have Superman's Girlfriend, Lois Lane, number 56. I absolutely love this cover, mainly because it's not just Lois on it. I believe that's Lana with her. And those two had a tumultuous relationship in the Silver Age. So in 1975, we have Justice League of America, number 118. Which has Superman looking like he's just had way too much to drink with the other Justice Leaguers. Really does kind of look like they just woke up after a bender. We also have World's Finest number 230, which is one of those great giant dollar comics. And it's more of the Sons of Superman and Batman, which are some wacky, wacky stories. In 1985, we have Superman number 407, which actually had two stories in it. But the main one was kind of what you see on the cover. Everybody gets superpowers. It kind of feels like that final episode of the Adventures of Superman television series. The stories were really starting to kind of feel like Julius Schwartz was emptying out the inventory box in the last days of his time as editor. 1995, we start with the 90th book of it. Or are we going to 2005?
Oh, did we have a 19? I didn't think we had a 1995. Please.
Oh
do
yeah,
say.
I'll just go through them really quick. We had Blood Pack #2, which was a spin-off of the Bloodline, Superboy #14, and Superman the Man of Steel #43. But in 2005, as you see, we have Action Comics #824, and we are in kind of the final days of this little era of Action Comics, which had like was that villain really named Prius? Like that's 15 seconds away from Prius. That's not good. Over in JLA #111, we still have the JLA fighting a new version of the Crime Syndicate, which was kind of a sequel to JLA Avengers. And we also had Majestic #2, which, as I said last month, was an excellent series, and I cannot recommend it enough. In 2015, we had Smallville Season 11 Continuity #3. It's a mouthful of a title. And we also had World's Finest #31. That title was wrapping up with a look at the origin of the Earth 2 Superman Batman team. But in the real world, we got a couple, one exciting, one sad, and one kind of joyous. On February 12th, 1940, the Superman radio series premiered on, I believe, WOR in New York, if I am correct. I could be wrong about that. That was when it was a syndicated series, meaning they had pre-recorded it and was released to stations. It wouldn't go live till several years later. But it all started with the baby from Krypton, which does not contain Superman at all except in baby form. And then he just shows up in the next episode fully grown as Superman because they just didn't want to bother with anything else. On February 14th, unfortunately in 2011, Miss Joanne Siegel, who is one of Jerry Siegel, one of the models for Lois Lane, and of course married to Jerry Siegel, passed away. And that was, I remember us talking about that. That was, or were we on the air at that point? Were we?
Yes, I think we might have been, because she was somebody I'd interviewed and spoken to, and and her and her daughter had been often members of the Superman homepage website, as far as being accessible for a soundbite here or there.
And on February 15th, Christopher McDonald, who is known for a lot of things. If Adam Sandler fans know him from one of, I can't even think of what the name of the movie. It's also in Grease 2, which is kind of funny. But more known to us as the voice of Jor-El, as well as the older Superman in Batman Beyond. And that is This Week in History.
Not to be confused with the Christopher McDonald who is currently going to be in the new movie.
Yeah.
Who is a different
which
Christopher
is
McDonald.
a weird coincidence. That is a very strange coincidence.
Indeed. So there you have it. That was This Week in History. Thank you very much, Michael. All right, let's jump into some comic book news, and we have Dan Mora's cover to the upcoming Summer of Superman Action Comics #1 facsimile edition, Golden Age size publication, which is Dan Mora's cover looks like this. So that's a really cool, and it uses the costume and likeness from the upcoming movie, which is really interesting. So yeah, that will be released, I believe, on April 18th this year, which would be Superman Day, celebrating the release of Action Comics #1. So Golden Age size facsimile edition of Action Comics #1, featuring an homage cover by superstar artist Dan Mora.
Yeah, I'm just gonna call it right now. If everything doesn't completely collapse in the next 10 years, I think Dan Mora is going to be remembered as one of the great Superman artists of all time. I just think his version of the character has just stood out as being one of the best. I've loved it in World's Finest. I'm loving it in the current Superman run. So it's just, I'm really glad that he was the one they chose to do the variant cover.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal artist. I mean, I actually first encountered him on Claus. He was writing with Grant Morrison about
Okay.
the kind of new origins of Santa Claus. He did the art on that, and it was great. But then when he came to World's Finest, I was just amazed at what a great artist he was.
Yep, so there is that variant cover. A question from Ramel Kantukan in the comments saying, want to watch the 60s Superman cartoons again, or was it 1950s? 1966 was the New Adventures of Superman Filmation cartoons. Before that, it was just the Fleischer animated shorts in the 1940s. And then later on, obviously, we got the Super Friends in the 70s and onwards. But and then many more cartoons after that. But yeah, the 66 Filmation New Adventures of Superman kicked off a series of different versions of that cartoon series. So there you have it. Hopefully that answers your question, Ramel. All right, I saw, Michael, you got excited about this next announcement, was the reveal that DC will be publishing a new edition of Superman the Ultimate Guide hardcover book by writer and author Matthew K. Manning. He was the one who promoted or announced it on his Facebook page that I saw. Discover and explore the world of the original and greatest of all superheroes, Superman, the Man of Steel, a new edition, a 216-page hardcover publication. It's priced reasonably at $29.99 US and expected to arrive June 17th. Michael, you're excited about this one because you bought the original one, as did I. When was the original one released?
I forget when the original, I think the original one was like the early 2000s because it was more of a thinner book that was larger that had that Ed McGuinness cover. And then around the time of Man of Steel, or probably a little earlier, but I bought mine the night I went to go see Man of Steel. They put out one with a New 52 cover. So this one is going to be, I don't know if it's I'm assuming it has different material in it.
Well,
but
yeah, you've got some updated content there, like some of the comics covers you're seeing, the comic images you're seeing at the bottom there came out after the original publication. You've got some of the more recent comic book, Grant Morrison's image there at the bottom, and the, so there's definitely some updated evolution of Superman in that image right there.
I'm kind of hoping that this doesn't confuse people because they're going to be putting out a new edition of Superman the Definitive History around this time period as well, with some updates in a more kind of, for lack of a better term, affordable form. Most people didn't want to spend the $150, but from what I understand, the new edition is going to be more accessible price-wise. But this is nice. DK Books, they're not like deep dives, but they're good overviews, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mark.
Yeah, I do not own any of these books, and I don't know why. These are, like Mike said. I mean, the thing about these books is I don't think it's like necessarily new information and all. You're getting probably more art. I think is probably the biggest draw here, and overviews telling you, this happened when, and this happened at this time, and this happened at that time. And I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying I used to just kind of gloss over it and not think much of it, but I'm kind of on the cusp of maybe buying this one. So we'll see.
It says it's packed with art from the original comic books. The definitive volume brings Superman's story right up to date with full details of his latest exploits in major storylines such as the final days of Superman, Superman Reborn, and Adventures of Superman John Kent, with in-depth profiles of Superman's allies and enemies, a detailed timeline, landmark comics, and much more. Superman, the Ultimate Guide. New edition is both a superb guide to a timeless cultural icon who in 2025 hurdles back on movie screens, and a prize addition to any fan's bookshelf. So it's kind of like an overview of everything that's happened and kind of brings you up to date. And obviously it's timed to come out when the movie comes out. So if you want to purchase yours, the link is on our website. just head to our website and you'll be able to purchase the link through that affiliate link, which gives us a kickback at no extra cost to you. All right, guys, not that I have any doubt that your hygiene and your, male grooming, is, you've got it all down pat. You're well taken care of in all that department. But just in case, Old Spice now has a range of Superman and Batman, like shampoos, body washes, that kind of stuff to collect. They are available through like Walmart and some of those other outlets, but they're like $7.97 pretty much across the board. But comprehensive range, deodorants, body wash, those kinds of things. Old Spice.
Yeah, I saw this and I was like, that's interesting. I won't be buying any of it because Old Spice products and I, outside of their like aftershave, which I used to use, but then I realized I was kind of like smelling like my dad, so I decided to stop using it. But it and I don't get along, so I'm gonna like this from afar.
Yeah, and then the Batman one. I mean, I don't know. After a long night of Batman being out, I don't know if I want to smell like that. Superman obviously would definitely be the one to go with, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it's supposedly the Superman one has a black cherry and nightfall. Oh, that's the Batman. Sorry, Batman one is black cherry and nightfall. Superman has a bright citrus and cosmos scent, whatever that means.
What? Citrus?
Bright
Look,
citrus.
I'm gonna say this.
orange.
I've never in my life thought, what does Superman smell like? But now that the idea has come up, citrus is not the answer. The only one that can we really ask is Alex Danvers, because when Tyler Hoechlin showed up at the DEO, she told Kara that he smelled wonderful. So I'm assuming that she could tell us, but I don't think Shiloh Lee is going to come on the show anytime soon.
No, yeah, we could always ask.
But we haven't asked, so
no, that's true. So there you have it, Old Spice. Now, also for Alex Ross fans, previously available as a 2024 CCXP event exclusive in Brazil, Zavi UK is now taking pre-orders for the Superman by Alex Ross 1/10 scale statue, which is an impressive item. It's £239. So I don't know what that equates to in US or Australian dollars, but you can order yours through Zavi.co. So that is an impressive, nice looking image. All right. Well, that pretty much
said 239 pounds. I'm like, that's a heavy statue.
That's heavy. Wow, man. Break your back.
Monetary value, not in weight.
Yeah.
All right, so that brings us to the end of tonight's program. Before we do sign off, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to Superman Homepage Live. We appreciate you spending this past hour with us. Thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. We really appreciate your support. Thank you to my co-hosts, Michael Bailey. Thank you very much.
Pleasure as always, Steve.
And Mark Lax. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you, as I said, to everyone for spending this past hour with us. We appreciate all the comments and questions that you've thrown at us. We appreciate you spending this time with us. We really like your company. So please join us next week when we return for another edition of Superman Homepage Live on Monday, February 17th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time for another edition of Superman Homepage Live. We hope you'll join us then. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. If you missed tonight's show, you caught part of it, or tuned in late like Michael, kind of were in and out, and you want to watch the whole thing all over again, then you can do that through supermanhomepage.com or our YouTube channel. It will be up there on a permanent basis. But as I said, we'll be back next Monday night. On behalf of myself, Michael Bailey, and Mark Lax, thanks for joining us here on Superman Homepage Live. I'll see you next week. Good night.